2019 25th Anniversary National Legends Cars Championship is sponsored by 24 Hour Solutions. No problems, only solutions.
Hi, and a very warm welcome along to the second of our race meetings here at Donington Park, the 24 Hour Solutions Legends Cars National Championship 2019. The weather is changeable today. The championship lead wasn't changeable last time out. John Mickle came into the event leading the standings, and he led it at the end of the day. Will he still be leading today? Well, that remains to be seen. Let's go down into the paddock and get some gossip before racing gets underway. Right, we're looking forward to a new round, day two here at Donington Park, but a few problems for you yesterday. If you could run through what happened and how you're overcoming it all.
Yeah, we had an oil leak in practice stroke qualifying. The first race we had a mechanical failure with the engine, so for the second race we didn't get out because we were just trying to put the second engine all together. So we didn't get out for that one, and then the third one, it was going pretty well, but then I got took out. So one of those days you want to forget and you just want to go forward.
Coming into today, actually, I was thinking, looking forward to the next round. It's nearly the anniversary of your comeback, isn't it? Because you've not done every round, but next time we're at Snetterton, and that was your comeback round. So how's it all going generally?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We're just trying to settle in again this season. Like I say, we've had mechanical failure and we've shown pace, but it's keeping that pace. You know, there's a lot of quick guys out there. It's keeping reliability, and that's the key. And then just trying to find the pace at every round.
Dave, good to see the number 5 car back out. And this is a team car, a shared car, so Mike drove it yesterday, you're today, and maybe we'll see Mike's son out as well?
Yeah, if Lee likes to compete in the drifting, he's got to build himself a car for that. But hopefully he'll come out and do a few of the legend races just later on.
You were telling me this morning you're feeling a little bit nervous this morning.
Yeah, I've been racing near enough 40 years now, and but you still, for the first one, I always find I'm a bit nervous. Get the first one over and done with, then I can calm down and I'll be all right.
How much feedback do you get from, Mike from yesterday?
Lots, actually, because he sets a nice car up. The car is a quick car. He didn't have such a best day yesterday with traffic and stuff, but the car is a good, quick car. It's solid and pulls really well.
Rob, day 2 here at Donington Park. Problematic day for you yesterday. Run through what happened, and are you getting on top of it?
Yeah, we've found out what the problems are and fixed it, but yeah, one of the worst days racing we've had.
What were the problems?
We just had a load of oil leaks on the car, and then it ended up an engine blew up, so we just were chasing our tails all day yesterday, but we've been out this morning and it's been good, so yeah, it's a good day.
Practice session was okay, and how far out the field?
Well, we were 4th quickest this morning, so there's 1/10 of a second between the top 7, so it's really, really close round here. Yeah.
Robin Fountain and Marcus Pett on row 1. Paul Simmons on row 2, but a gap beside him where Phil Turner in the 24 Hour Solutions car should have been. Hopefully he will be out for race 2 and indeed race 3 if they can get their engine problems sorted out. They were dropping a little bit of oil in qualifying. Obviously don't want to cause problems for the drivers or themselves in this race. So we're ready for the off. And it's a good start by Marcus Pett from the front of the grid as they go down the straight. In car with John T. Norman making ground, already up with and passing Robin Fountain right in the mix as they go through Redgate for the first time. A little further back in the draw was Nick Bridgman with Nathan Anthony right behind him in yellow. John Mickle, the multi-champion, in the number 4 card there as well. It's Connor Mills now in the lead, but John T. Norman spins. What's their contact on the back end of John T., who goes around, and there's a lot of reaction behind him. I've got to say that could have been a lot worse because he was right in the middle of the full pack. Pretty violent gyration from him, but several cars are going to be either out of the race or further back than they would expect to be. Let's take a look at what has Miles Rudman out. Big story there. So here we get Jonty's spin. That really was a multiple spin for Jonty. Miles Rudman is involved there as well. You saw him pulling up at the end. Miles Rudman second in the championship. So that's a big story. Remember, also in this one, we got Cy Haraway starting from pit lane. But it's now Marcus Pett challenging Connor Mills with Paul Simmons in third place. Through they go. Jack Parker managed to come through that skirmish. He was right behind Jonty Norman when he spun. There's Bill Reid in 67. There is Jonty having rejoined, now down behind Gerard McCosh. Across the line they go. Got Matt Rainbow in front of that group as well as we ride in car with Nathan Anthony. Will Gibson is in front. Will up from 12th on the grid, making great progress. He is up into 5th place. So Gibson trying to hunt down on as they go past the stricken car. They've left the car of Miles Rudman there. That really surprises me. Rudman second in the championship. Marcus Pett third in the standings. Could get closer to the front of things here as Will Gibson is about to be challenged by Nathan Anthony. Nathan has a look, leaves the door open for Jack Parker to go through in the blue and yellow 13 car. And they're all trying to close down on Robin Fountain. Robin didn't make the best of starts, I don't think, but has recovered well from that. And he's in 4th place at the moment, the year 2000 champion. Took time away from racing after winning the championship to grow and nurture his business. Miles Rudman has got going, so the marshals were waiting for a safe period on the track to get that car moving, which was superb. So a good call from the race officials to allow the race to carry on. The marshals have done their great work as ever while it was safe to do so, and Miles Rudman will be able to either get back on track or come into the pits as we ride in car with Nathan Anthony once again. 75 Scotsman Giuseppe Pino Palazzo, and there is Jonty Norman trying to get back into the points. We're showing a good turn of speed at the start of the race before that gyration. But it's Marcus Pett now up front. Connor Mills down to third. Paul Simmons looking pretty nifty at the moment in second place. Simmons has looked quick this weekend. Connor Mills is trying to get over some gremlins with his car. And now, coming up is Will Gibson running well in black and blue from 12th on the grid, 10th in the championship. Will, remember, had that barrel roll at Brands Hatch. There in number 6 is Matt Rainbow, about to put a move on Paul Simkis, and Matt, this year's rookie championship leader. Good to see him back in harness this weekend in the Dyno Rod car as the race leaders go through Coppice once again. In car with Will Gibson, looking back at Jack Parker, a returnee after injury. Challenge for the lead. Paul Simmons goes to the outside line. Side by side, no they're not. Simmons has got the lead. Marcus Pett down to P2. Connor Mills still trying to defend third at the moment from Robin Fountain, who's right in the thick of things there. Then it's Gibson, Parker, Nathan Anthony up with the lead group again. Now, if you saw our previous round from yesterday's racing, you'll know that we had several finishes that were side by side, and they've got to time their racing and their move into the lead on the last lap to perfection, unless they manage to break away. Simmons goes a little bit wide. Marcus Pett back into the lead. Now, here comes Connor Mills round the outside line. Outside at Crater Curves, it looks like Simmons is dropping back. Nathan Anthony flies past him. Paul Simmons has got a problem. Another big hitting driver in the championship dropping back down the order, so Marcus Pett could well be on his way to another win. Pett, who leads this race, the driver with the most wins in the championship so far this year, third in the table, but he's nearly 300 points behind Miles Rudman. He'll pull 200 of those back here if Rudman is down the order. It's going to be key for Miles Rudman to finish this race after his problems. He is still going, incidentally. And we've got a number of guest drivers in this who don't score points, and that will help Miles. For those at the back of the field, he'll get more points because the guest drivers don't score points in the racing. And there is Paul Simmons out of the race. Such a shame. Our second retirement of the race. Ricky Leggett is out as well. Rick was up at the front at the start as Rob Fountain looks for the lead. Fountain through on the inside line. Rob Fountain takes the lead. Marcus Pett down to second. Will Gibson is now fourth, and Gibson is challenging for third place side by side with Connor Mills. Here comes Jack Parker on the back end of Gibson. They're bump drafting down the straight into Redgate. Look at this. Fantastic Legends cars racing, and Will Gibson comes through into the lead from 12th on the grid. Surely aided and abetted by the bump drafting from Jack Parker, gets in front. That's what they do in Legends. They all work together on track. It is like a game of chess. It's a strategy game in Legends Cars Racing, particularly on a circuit like Donington Park. Paul Simkis and Pino Palazzo there with Gerard McCarsh. We've got Neil Shenton just ahead of them as well. Neil had a great race one, and John Mickles in pit lane. Mickles having a back bumper replaced. That's going to be very quick work from the team to get John back out. So we've got the championship leader in the pits, second in the championship, Miles Rudman at the back of the field after the excursion on lap one. Major drama here. It's Nathan Anthony, bump draft with Marcus Pett. Another change for the lead. Jack Parker through on the inside. Marcus Pett working with him. Will Gibson on the outside line. Gibson side by side with Pett. Into the chicane. Gibson has to use a little bit of the green runoff area there, and now we've got Sean Smith, the second of the black and red cars, has joined the mix as well. Smith, another driver who's been bang on the pace this weekend so far, as Gibson goes to the outside line. Who's going to lead into Redgate? Jack Parker this time. Will Gibson second. Third place is Marcus Pett, then Nathan Anthony, Connor Mill still in the mix, and then the two red and black cars, Robin Fountain and Sean Smith. Smith, remember, is fifth in the championship. Here they come. Cy Haraway, incidentally, he's making progress through the field. We haven't seen him, but he started from pit lane as James Hall Morton, one of the victims of that melee on lap number one, coming through the field, dicing with Paul Simkis and trying to make up a position. He's now having a look at Neil Shenton, both of those drivers with roots in the Brisker Formula One stock car scene. Wow, what a race we've had. There is the 67 car of Bill Reed, and Connor Mills is off. Connor Mills, another championship front runner, 6th in the table. He's off. We've had so many hits on the leading championship points positions in this race. And Nathan Anthony goes round. Nathan Anthony spins, keeps it going, and he'll rejoin safely. Nathan Anthony out of that front group. There's the car. Well, he hasn't got it going yet. The first full fans, Savan, will hopefully rejoin. It's Jack Parker out front here now. Will Gibson in second. Marcus Pett in third place as Nathan Anthony rejoins the proceedings. Jack Parker leads, then Will Gibson, Marcus Pett. This race could go any way at all. There are black clouds looming in the distance, but it's a dry circuit at present as we go in car. Looking back from Will Gibson once again. Here they come down into the chicane once again. Will Gibson looking on the inside line of Jack Parker, who holds sway there. Sean Smith is in fourth, and Cy Haraway's joined the group as well. That's Cy Haraway on the back of the group from the pit lane start. What an incredible drive. Now we've got Sean Smith setting purple sectors at the moment, but Haraway has come through. He's going to look on the inside line. Cy Haraway's going to take fourth position here. What a drive by Haraway. Remember, defending fourth in the championship from Sean Smith, so that was a move there. Those two quite close on points, around about 50 points shy of Marcus Pett at the moment. Marcus is going to, I think, stay at the sharp end in this one. So we ride on board with John T. Norman again, looking at the inside line of Paul Simpkins, and look at the clouds. The rain is threatening. The drivers who like the dry are going to have to make the most of this. So now it's Will Gibson leading, Jack Parker second, Cy Haraway in third. Great shot back from Will Gibson. You can almost see the eyeballs of Jack Parker returning after his injury and showing that he's lost none of his pace. He's going to just enjoy his racing this year as Rob Keane comes under pressure from Daniel Clark, the ex-British Supercar champion, having a Legends race here at Donington Park this weekend as Jack Parker thinks of having a look. Cy Haraway's up the inside line and he's going into second place. Haraway, a pit lane start, he's up into second place. He was stone last and I think might be grateful that he avoided that melee, but here he comes. There's the checkered flag. Gibson takes it. Haraway in second place. Jack Parker in third. Incredible race. I can tell you that John Mickle did get to the finish. Great pit work by Mickle's team. He and Miles Rudman will pick up some points. We're looking now at James Hall Morton, who's running in 12th. Nathan Anthony got to the flag as well. So many drivers getting back out on track after problems and picking up consolation points, but it's Will Gibson. A great meeting for him, a second win of the meeting with Cy Haraway second from the pit lane. Jack Parker third, Sean Smith in fourth place from Marcus Pett, then Rob Fountain and Robert King, Daniel Clark in eighth from Mike Schlupp and Nick Bridgman completing the top 10. Dave Ward next from James Hall Morton and Kieran Beattie, Nathan Anthony 14th from Neil Shenton, Gerard McCosh, Pino Palazzo, John T. Norman, Paul Simkis and Bill Reid. John Mickle and Miles Rudman pick up some consolation points with 21st and 22nd. A string sadly of non-finishers. The fastest lap went to Sean Smith on the last lap of the race. Sean Smith proving that he is going to be one to watch today for sure as Will Gibson comes into victory lane, followed by Cy Haraway and Jack Parker.
Will, I said yesterday when you grabbed the win in the previous round, the season was underway. It is.
Yeah, it's just a shame we're 4 rounds in. Otherwise, yeah, we'll be going great. So it's good. I think we finally dialed the new car in. I think we can say this is back to how the old one was. So yeah, really happy. Big thanks to the sponsors again. Blue Sky CAD, the boss of Blue Sky CAD came back again today because he enjoyed himself so much. So big shout out to him and all the help he gives us. But yeah, great race.
I think we could probably fill a whole programme with just that one race because there was so much story going into it, through it and now out of it. Aside from pit lane start through to P2, mega.
Well, I can't even remember what happened, to be honest with you. There's so much, like you say, that went on during the race, but the red mist was down. I seemed to go faster from the pit lane. But we had an off yesterday, the car was in absolute pieces. I mean in pieces. The back end was out of it. And Barry spent all night putting the car back together for me, Barry and James. I think it was better than it was yesterday.
Jack, can I grab a quick word with you? Obviously, congratulations on the podium, but you're hard at work on the car straight away. What's the story?
Yeah, it's a good race. It's a shame that I couldn't fight for first towards the end. Just lacked that little bit of straight line speed. But yeah, it was a good race. From what I had yesterday, it's definitely a far improvement. So hopefully in race 2 I can maybe get the chance to go for first.
Rick, disappointing to see you out of the race. What happened?
The engine's getting a bit tired. She's slowing up, and it's not worth staying out. They're getting slower and slower, holding the other guys up and everything else. It's more defending than racing. So save the engine, bring it in, and we'll have a look at it and see if we can get out for race 2.
Will you be able to change it? Is that the plan?
Our spare one's still being over the tunnel, coming over the channel from Belgium, so it didn't arrive in time for this weekend, unfortunately.
Feel disappointed not to see you on the grid. What's the problem?
So we had a few mechanical problems yesterday. We did an engine change overnight last night. The engine this morning during qualifying decided to develop quite a major oil leak. We pulled it back in, we've sorted out one oil leak, and now we've had another seal go on another engine, on the new engine. So they're trying to repair that at the moment. We were hoping to get out and start from pit lane. It didn't quite happen, but they're quietly confident that we'll be out for the next race. So
it was your fault with the oil in the quali. Some of the drivers saying it was oil down, so it was poor old Phil.
Yeah, we didn't realise, so that was half the problem. We're heading round and we were trying to run this new engine in, and then I say halfway round, I think the third lap, the car started to get very twitchy, and you can start to smell something's not quite right. Came straight into pit lane, and yeah, it was us. We were just dropping oil everywhere, which was a bit unfortunate.
John, there are a lot of platitudes about teamwork that go on in all forms of motorsport, but there really was in that race because you had the damage came in, they fixed you and got you out. First of all, what happened to cause the damage on the car?
Yeah, there was 3 cars spinning down trainer curves. I've sort of checked up to stop to avoid it, and I think the number 7 has come in the back of me quite hard and pushed me into the 43, which is we got away. I mean, we got damaged, but it could have been a lot worse. So at least we got back in the pits and got it repaired, and the team done a fantastic job and got the quick steel car back on the grid.
We're not sure on the points because obviously we've got some guest drivers here this weekend, but those can be so valuable.
Yeah, I think we've got about 30 or 40 points. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You've got to take the rough with the smooth. Say it could have been a lot worse, and you just got to keep grabbing every point you can.
Pole position goes to James Hall Morton with Rob King alongside. We don't have Phil Turner again, but we do have a big field of cars about to be unleashed on circuit for our second race. And we are Legends Cars racing here at Donington Park as the huge field goes down into rear gate. Nathan Anthony in yellow goes to the outside line. In car with Nick Bridgman, John Mickles there, side by side with race 1 winner Will Gibson, as off goes Jack Parker into the gravel. Hopefully he'll be able to get himself removed from there. Nathan Anthony making progress, looking for third place around the outside line. Sean Smith being followed by Miles Rudman. Rudman looks to the outside line there down the Craners. That could convert to the inside at the old hairpin. It does. He's going up into fourth place, the black and yellow number 7, after a disappointing race 1. Goes through. Paul Simkis ran a little bit wide there, but holds on to position. Kieran Beattie followed by Daniel Clark starting from the back. Marshall Power required to get Jack Parker out. Great work by the Marshals. Jack will rejoin the race a little bit further back than he would like to be, of course. There's John Mickle there. Starts to try and continue to make progress from 9th on the grid. Gibson and Mickle together. Will Gibson finally getting a decent result this weekend with a win yesterday, a win today. Miles Rudman, though, is, look at this, they're all queuing up to do a little bit of bump drafting. Nathan Anthony in the mix as well. Rob King is the race leader at the moment, though. Seen Rob take race wins before in this championship. Straight lines the chicane a little bit there. Don't think he had any other option, to be fair. John Mickle in 5th place, busy chasing Sean Smith. And now look at that, Rob King getting mugged here down the straight with a bump drafting from Nathan Anthony and Miles Rudman, who I thought was going to look up the inside line but didn't. It's Nathan Anthony leading into Redgate, Rudman 2nd, Smith is 3rd, King 4th, Mickle in 5th place, then Connor Mills in car with Miles Rudman again. We probably should say on board because it's actually cameras outside of the car. And busy chasing Nathan Anthony here again, looking at the apex there down the Craners. Looks on the inside, going down into the old hairpin and he's through. Miles Rudman into lead position. Sean Smith's going to follow through into P2 and maybe challenge for the lead as well. A little bit of a moment off there for John T. Norman, followed by Dave Ward, but it's Miles Rudman that leads this one. Sean Smith now in 2nd place. Rob King dicing with Nathan Anthony, reclaims 3rd position. Anthony goes wide, Mickles through. Connor Mills and Will Gibson, I think, are going to try and follow through as well. Then it's Robin Fountain. Robin having a good run, I think, up from 18th on the grid, so decent drive by Robin as they come down the straight in towards the S's again. Rudman from Smith breaking free a little bit now. John Mickle looks on the outside line of Rob King, just behind. That's the battle for 3rd place. They're still side by side, and John goes a little bit on the grass. Rob King on the outside line, he's on the grass. There wasn't room, and Rob King's on the grass, and a chain reaction there. Round goes Gibson, round goes Robin Fountain. Out as well, I think, is Nick Bridgman with damage. Again, could have been worse, but for those drivers, effectively, their race over. It was just a squeeze as John Mickle was on the inside line of Rob King. Rob had to go on the grass. Here's the view, and you can see, well, we see the aftermath of it. I think Rob might have to go into retirement. Another replay, Will Gibson, and you get the contact happened afterwards, and Will Gibson, the race 1 winner, is out. Well, it's all calming down at the front, and it's still Miles Rudman and Sean Smith out front. Kieran Beattie having a dice there with Matt Rainbow in the Dyno Rod 6 car. This is the battle for 3rd. The leader's getting away as a result of that skirmish, you have to say. John Mickle in 3rd, then Nathan Anthony and Connor Mills. Sadly, Rob King pulls up into retirement. A wheel on the grass can just cause so many problems, and I think he had to be there. There wasn't room on track, but it's John Mickle now in 3rd, followed by Nathan Anthony, then Connor Mills, and the 2 leaders, Miles Rudman and Sean Smith. These 2 having a great race. 2 drivers with their roots in oval legends. Marcus Pett at the back of this group as well, scoring pretty well. But it's John Mickle in that 3rd place. Now for Miles Rudman, the gap 35 points in the championship between Rudman and Mickle, and the difference between a win and 3rd place is 30 points. So Rudman in the lead at the moment as Connor Mills goes a little bit wide. The race leader's coming down through the Craner curves once again, and Sean Smith looks poised to make a move here on Miles Rudman. Not close enough. This is where Rudman grabbed the lead off of Nathan Anthony earlier on. In car with Anthony. Cy Haraway nips through on the inside line. Haraway with the fastest lap of the race on lap 4. And looking to come through the field again. Marshall's doing superb brave work, picking up the detritus from the incident earlier on. Come the race leaders though, developing that gap. John Mickle still in 3rd place, Cy Haraway is 4th, but it's between Rudman and Smith at the front of the field. This is the battle for third place. Cy Harraway about to have a look. Dives down the inside line of John Mickle. James Hall-Morton might be there as well, but it's Harraway that gets third. Mickle fourth. James Hall-Morton next. Then Nathan Anthony. Marcus Pett up at the sharp end as well. And there is Daniel Clark coming through, again from the back of the grid. Daniel, a guest driver this weekend, and having a very good run. He's looked very, very quick indeed. Looks down the inside line of Connor Mills now. Connor's still struggling with his car a little bit, but trying to pick up as many points as he can in this race. Still out front though, Miles Rudman and Sean Smith, and they've broken free. Very rarely do you see two cars break free, but they've worked together well so far, and now they've really got the luxury of a gap back, and when they get onto the last lap, they can just fight it out amongst themselves unless the pack can close in. In car with Nick Bridgman, looking back at Robin Fountain. Will Gibson in the mix as well. Here comes the pack with Matt Rainbow electing to start off the back today. Kieran Beatley right behind him as well in the 33 car, another driver joining as a guest from the Scottish Championship. Sean Smith still harrying Miles Rudman. Rudman still second in the championship, and 35 points adrift at the moment by my calculations of John Mickle. Marcus Pett closed up though. The gap now is down to 200 or so points, as Will Gibson dices here with Nick Bridgman. Both of them dicing for top 10 in the championship. Nick always pleased to get into the top 10. Really learning his Legends craft here, Nick Bridgman, in the 68, and you can see a little bit of bump drafting going on there. The leaders have still got a good healthy gap past the stricken car of Rob King. Through Redgate, Cy Harraway in third, which he seems to have consolidated from John Mickle in fourth place. James Hall-Morton on the outside line, Marcus Pett on the inside, then it's Connor Mills, Daniel Clark, Paul Simmons in the mix as well in the mustard yellow cars, who rejoin the leaders coming down into the old hairpin. Miles Rudman, I think, seems to have this one under control. Sean Smith at the moment doesn't seem to have anything in the armoury to be able to close in on and pass. Maybe he's waiting for the last lap to do a couple of last corner moves and go through, as Paul Simmons challenges Connor Mills, looks down the inside line. Back to the leaders. By the way, it's Cy Harraway with fastest lap at the moment. Here comes Cy leading the group, battling for third place. John Mickle is next up, then Nathan Anthony. So many drivers bang on the pace as they come up into Coppice, uphill into Coppice Corner. The double apex right-hander brings them onto Exhibition Straight. No longer an exhibition centre there, unfortunately. It closed a while ago, so that may well get renamed at some point. Right, Mike, and I said that Sean Smith might be waiting for a moment. Finally goes through. Sean Smith goes through and past at the chicane. Smith leads, Rudman second, but picks up the draft, picks up the toe, and now bump drafts with Sean Smith going down into Redgate. These two still working with each other, but it's Rudman now in second. Sean Smith, has he picked the right time? John Mickle's back into third place. Cy Harraway has been hung out to dry a little bit, and he's behind James Hall-Morton and Nathan Anthony. Marcus Pett didn't manage to get past him, but he's still on the back of that group as well. As the race leaders come down into the old hairpin again, Sean Smith is out front. Miles Rudman will try and close up, takes a wider line here, will again pick up the draft. Here comes John Mickle in third place. James Hall-Morton, a little bit of a wonky moment for him. Marcus Pett now does take his opportunity to try and pass Cy Harraway. Here come the race leaders, still got that gap. Harraway still fastest on track, back on lap 4. You do need to work the toe and the draft around here, as we've already seen. It is, I think, going to be between these two. Miles Rudman still chasing, and he'll get a few more points back here on John Mickle. Mickle running in third. It's only going to be 15 points here, the difference between second and third place, as Rudman comes out of the draft and goes on the outside line back into the lead, slices through. The bumper's hanging off though. Look at the back of Rudman's car. Now a similar scenario in race 1 saw John Mickle have to pit. Will we see him have to come into the pits? Cross the line they go, onto the last lap, and Sean Smith's got him back. Another lead change. This is what Legends is all about. And in the gravel, that's Kieran Beatty in the gravel. Waved yellows there. It's going to make it difficult to pass on that part of the circuit, at least, where you shouldn't do, as James Hall-Morton now being challenged by Cy Harraway. That's for fourth position as the race leaders come down the hill. It's Sean Smith in front. Now, has Sean peaked too soon? Will Miles Rudman be able to go past? We've seen that both of them, from chasers, when they're chasers, they have the pace to be able to pass. John Mickle has broken free and is in third place. We can't see Rudman's bumper here, of course. I don't think it's going to be an issue because he wouldn't be able to pit now. The question is, when did he pick up that damage? Might have been when he was bump drafting with Sean earlier on in the race. But look, the bumper's hanging off, and my guess is if we'd been earlier in the race, he'd have been asked to pit. Sean Smith, the leader. This is the last lap. Rudman busy chasing and needs, if he can get past, he'll pull another 15 points on John Mickle. That will make it a 30-point advantage to him in this race over Mickle, but surely too far back to do anything about Sean Smith. But he's closing as they come into the chicane for the last time. But it's going to be Sean Smith who leads out of the chicane, gets a little bit crossed up to Smith. Rudman makes a move. It's the run to the flag, side by side, and here they come. And it's Rudman just takes it from Sean Smith. Incredible finish, 300ths of a second. If that had been me, I'd have given up, but Rudman went right the way to the flag, took the win from Sean Smith. John Mickle in third. They're still dicing. Jonty Norman and Matt Rainbow having a super scrap there. That is for 17th place. The dicing's not just at the front. We can't have cameras everywhere, unfortunately. But Miles Rudman, you have to say, because of Sean Smith's squirrely moment at the S's, takes the win. Rudman wins, Sean Smith second, John Mickle third, James Hill-Morton next from Cy Harraway and Nathan Anthony, Paul Simmons and Connor Mills next from Marcus Pett. Daniel Clark completes the top 10 from Dave Ward in 11th, Mike Schlupp next from Neil Shenton and Will Gibson, Nick Bridgman in 15th from Gerard McCosh and Jonty Norman, Matt Rainbow, Paul Simkis and Jack Parker completing our 24 finishers. Fastest lap to Cy Harraway as Miles Rudman comes into victory lane, followed by Sean Smith and John Mickle.
Miles, that's more like it, isn't it? And to put some challenging races behind you and come back with that. A virtuoso performance there from you and Sean as well.
Yeah, it's a brilliant race. It's really hard, and like you say, you know, it's been a bit of a challenge up until now and been struggling to get on the podium really, but yeah, I realised that me and Sean had broke away, and it was just about timing it right, and I didn't really want to be leading it too much towards the end and wanting to get in the draft, and luckily I did and just pipped him at the line.
Sean, that looked like team racing there between the two of you, getting away from the field, and that did enable you guys to sort yourself out, and a fine race between the two of you, very little to call between you.
Yeah, there was nothing in it at all. One of the best races I've had, really was, and we were bumper to bumper for most of the race, and it is, you've got to work with people. I've come from the ovals with Miles as well, and we just know how each other work, and it's just getting away from the field and trying to stay in front.
John, another race, another podium. Do you ever get fed up with talking to us?
No, you're not too bad actually. Another podium was quite good really. It was a hard race. We had a couple of incidents halfway through the race. I think me and Rob King touched wheels and he went off, and sorry about that, but we just went through the chicane side by side and there was no room. But yeah, it's one of them unlucky things. Coming back to the third, them two got away and we was out the draft and we couldn't catch them.
Because of the squeeze on Rob King, John Mickle having to start from pit lane here. Front row of the grid, Paul Simkis and Connor Mills, Jonty Norman and Paul Simmons on row 2. In car with Jonty, wait for lights out as they come down towards the line here at Donington Park for our third and final Legends race. And away we go. It's a good clean start as they head down Wheatcross Straight in towards Redgate. Paul Simmons on the inside. Connor Mills has come through in the lead with second place Paul Simmons, third Robin Fountain, and now was there contact there on Dave Ward? That was a very worrying moment, and contact again behind Matt Rainbow into the side of Bill Reid. Those two I think will be immediate retirements from the race as Connor Mills leads Paul Simmons. Miles Rudman in fourth place. Here's a replay. A little gyration for Dave Ward. Might have been some first turn bunching, as they call it, in motorcycle speedway. Johnson, bang, nasty one on Nick Bridgman's car. Sad to see those cars out. Matt Rainbow has had some pace, but not the luck in Legends cars. The former Ginetta racer, Bill Reid, being pushed away. So the Bridgman Motorsport team picking up some heavy damage in our third race. It's Paul Simmons who is at the front of this one at the moment. Paul had his first win here last year, first Legends Cars win last year, the reigning Masters champion, having a good run. Not good though for 68 Nick Bridgman, who will go past Connor Mills and pull up into safety. Miles Rudman challenges Rob Fountain for second, goes down the inside line, grabs the position. Fountain is third, Rob King in fourth place, then Marcus Pett running well from Nathan Anthony. Now with John Mickle starting from pit lane, to be honest, it's one that he'll probably take on the chin, because he scored well in both the races, of course. As Nathan Anthony looks to the outside line here, John would have started at or near the back anyway. So that's off of the way in race 3. I guess Cy Haraway's race from pit lane was the more difficult, because he would have had a more generous starting position courtesy of the draw, the grid draw for positions, as Miles Rudman looks at Paul Simmons for the lead. Here they come down into, and Paul Simmons gesticulating. I think that might be because of yellow flags, but Miles Rudman's got the lead and Paul Simmons waving, and yellow flags are there because those cars are being tended. That's Connor Mills' car being pushed away. Rob King still running strongly in fourth place and trying to hunt down Rob Fountain. So Robin Fountain coming under pressure here from Rob King, who looks on the inside line, makes the pass. Rob King up into third place. Always difficult to pick a winner, as Matt Rainbow comes into pit lane after that first lap skirmish, made it safely round the track, and I think into retirement, sadly, for Matt Rainbow. If he could get back out, that would be great news. Fifth place is Sean Smith, then James Orr-Morton. James in the cut and thrust of the racing again. Will Gibson chasing Mike Schlupp and Jack Parker. Across the line they go, side by side for fifth position, but it's the battle for the lead. Rudman still there from Paul Simmons, then Rob King. Will Gibson goes down the inside line of Mike Schlupp, trying to chase Jack Parker. Gibson's hauled himself up a few positions in the points this weekend with some great racing, and made a good pass there. We'll have more for you after the break. Great shot here looking back from Will Gibson. John Mickle right behind him. Remember that pit lane start from Mickle. He won't be bothered about that. Picks off another place very neatly through on the inside line. I think Will gave him plenty of room there to do that, as we watch Nathan Anthony up ahead of Jack Parker. Two-way battle for the lead though. Miles Rudman and Paul Simmons still very much hard at it as they go through Coppice. Sean Smith is third and trying to close up. 10-lap race, of course, for the final. Very slightly downhill here, coming towards the S's again. These two would do well to work together to just get the gap out from Rob King running in third place, Sean Smith in fourth. Will Gibson now over the back end of Marcus Pett, who's been deposed by John Mickle in the Quickseal car. On board with Miles Rudman again. Kieran Beattie there up ahead of Paul Simkis with Gerard McCoshin 69, and Dave Ward just behind them, recovering well from that first lap skirmish. Dave, the fourth of these cars, and making some progress in his recovery drive, Dave Ward. He'll be aiming for something well within the top 15, as Nathan Anthony has a problem. That's sad. Nathan Anthony in the Savannah has a little bit of an issue, passed by several cars there. So Nathan Anthony about to be, I think, passed by Daniel Clark in the 14. Nathan seems to have regrouped a little bit now. Sideways moment for Kieran Beattie. Paul Simkis will try and go through. Gerald McCosh now been passed by Dave Ward. So Dave continues to make his way through the order and will pick up a few team car championship points. The only other team car in the meeting, by the way, Rick Legger, retired. As you heard, they couldn't sort the engine out, so Rick out of this race as Miles Rudman goes for the lead down the inside line. Rudman back in lead position. I'll go back to that snippet of information about Rick Legger not racing in this one. It's a very big pack coming through the S's there. Phil Turner in the 24-hour Solutions car, sadly not taking the start again, but hopefully those boys will be back out on circuit and ready for Snetterton, which is our next meeting. Back with the lead, which is now a three-way fight, as Will Gibson is passing a very, very fast manoeuvre around the outside line by Cy Haraway, and I held my breath there because I thought the car might go straight on at Redgate, but Cy knew what he was doing and flies past on the outside line into Redgate. Not too often you see that in car racing. Makes the position stick over Will Gibson. John Mickle ahead of Marcus Pett, looks on the inside line of Robin Fountain. Marcus can't quite find a gap at the same place John did. Cy Harraway and Will Gibson busy chasing. We've got Neil Shenton behind Mike Schlupp. In car with Rob King, still running in that 4th position. James Hall-Morton is with him, and Jack Parker looks up the inside line of James Hall-Morton side by side. Rob King still holding sway there, deserves a bit of luck after the problems that he has had over the course of the weekend, but it's Miles Rudman. Now Sean Smith very much making this a 3-way battle. Out of the slipstream comes Paul Simmons to try and retake the lead. Simmons has got it, Simmons through the lead. And watch for Sean Smith on the inside. There goes Sean Smith through to 2nd place. And Miles Rudman, nothing he could do about that. Those 2 boys in front working together and will try and pull away if they can, but Miles Rudman will pick up the tow. I'm sure will not be left. The man 2nd in the championship, Miles Rudman, could well take the championship lead here from John Mickle as Gerard McCosh closes down. No, it's Matt Rainbow, in fact, closing on Gerard and passing Gerard McCosh and Kieran Beattie, and now coming to have a little nibble, I think, later on at Paul Simkis, who leads that group. Matt Rainbow, we saw him going into the pit, so good that Matt's team got him back out, I'm assuming, removing the outside rear wheel arch. So well done, Matt, for getting back out on track. Let's hope that he gets some decent lappery here as Paul Simkis. This battle is for about 15th position at the moment. Dave Ward away down the road ahead of this group now. Kieran Beattie will try and challenge Gerard McCosh, with Napoleon giving us a wave on the back of the car once again. Good 4-way scrap here, and that is the norm wherever you look in Legends Cars racing, that we do tend to get battles right the way down the order. Matt Rainbow trying to close down on Paul Simkis. Let's see whether Matt can make the move. They'll come back to that because we're going back to the lead battle now. Miles Rudman in 3rd place goes to the outside line here, side by side with Sean Smith as they come into the chicane. Paul Simmons still out front, couldn't quite do it there. Sean and Miles, now look at that, they hook up, they'll start to work together. This bump draft could result in a challenge going down into Redgate. They're in the tow, they break the tow, and Sean Smith this time goes around the outside line. Smith looking for the lead, Miles Rudman trying to follow through. Can he do it? No, it's the lead for Sean Smith, and I tell you what, Paul Simmons held his nerve spectacularly there. Paul Simmons holds on to 2nd place. Miles Rudman's got to try something else to maybe go through. Run down the hill, there's half a gap here, sees it early enough, goes through on the inside line, coming down into the old hairpin. Great move by Miles Rudman, very well read, clean and fair Legends Cars racing, but as you can see, Paul Simmons is not finished. So we've got a trio for the lead, then this quartet, another trio immediately behind, headed by Daniel Clark. Lead trio go through, the quartet for 4th place headed by John Mickle from Cy Harraway, Will Gibson, then James Hall-Morton. Daniel Clark is next up. Clark with the fastest lap of the race in white, the car that we're looking at. He's going to be, tell you what, the other drivers are going to be looking over their shoulders for Daniel Clark when he joins the championship full-time next year with his fiancée, LB Charlton, which is going to be mega to have those guys in the paddock next season. Here we come then, 3-way battle for the lead. Miles Rudman now looks for the outside line. Paul Simmons down in 3rd at the moment. Sean Smith is the leader. Simmons, though, has not been left by the lead duo. He knows that he likes this circuit, having won here last year. That was his first career win. Miles Rudman goes for the lead. Paul Simmons about to try and come through as well. Side by side, Sean Smith, I think, has been deposed to 3rd. So Sean, where he took the lead at this point on the last lap, now down in 3rd, and Miles Rudman starts to try and put a bit of air between himself and the 2nd and 3rd place cars of Paul Simmons and Sean Smith running in 3rd. It's got, surely the win is going to come from these 3 drivers, because they opened up a huge gap over the gaggle of cars dicing over 4th. It's at the moment a trio just about, well, maybe a tiny gap back from the next 3 cars to James Hall-Morton. There's Marcus Pett at the back of that group as well, and who's behind them can't see at the moment, because John Mickle, Cy Harraway and Will Gibson all squabbling over that 4th position. Here comes the battle for the lead again, though. It's Miles Rudman out front. Paul Simmons busy chasing him in the 51 car, then 21. Sean Smith about to have another go here as they come along the exhibition straight downhill, and Sean Smith helps Paul Simmons through into into the lead. Simmons will now have to bide his time to try and go past as well. Might have to work with Miles Rudman to pass Simmons. Here we come, out of the chicane, along the straight once again and across the line onto the last lap. Just under 2 miles to go here at Donington Park. Rudman makes a move, goes wide down into Redgate. Paul Simmons holds on to the lead. Sean Smith in second place. Simmons and Rudman will have to work together here to get past Paul Simmons, I feel. Rudman with a little gap at the moment. They won't bump draft down through the crane of curves. Wouldn't be safe to do that. Realistically, any bump drafting and working together is probably going to happen along Exhibition Straight, but Paul Simmons is under massive pressure here. Sean Smith trying to apply it. Trio there. Cy Haraway gets a little bit squirrely. Daniel Clark now next up from Jack Parker. Marcus Pett, James Hall Morton is next up, but it's Paul Simmons still leading this lead gaggle on the last lap. Sean Smith second, Miles Rudman in third place. Then it is John Mickle from Cy Haraway and Will Gibson. The top seat and off on the back. Marcus Pett is off. So too is James Hall Morton from good point scoring positions. It looks like they've had a tangle. Back with the leaders though. Miles Rudman coming down the straight. Sean Smith has a look on the inside line. He hasn't got Rudman with him to help him. Can Paul Simmons hang on? He's holding his nerve still in the 51 car. Sean Smith having a go as they come through the S's, and Sean Smith gets the run. Squirrely again out of the final turn, coming up to the line. It's going to be 51. Paul Simmons who takes the win just from Sean Smith and Miles Rudman. What a race from the legends again. James Hall Morton inspects the damage on his coupe, but Paul Simmons takes a second career win here and again at Donington Park. Sean Smith in P2 from Miles Rudman and John Mickle. Will Gibson next from Cy Haraway and Daniel Clark. Jack Parker in 8th from Rob King and Mike Schlupp. Daniel Clark incidentally holding on to the fastest lap of the race. Neil Shenton 11th from Marcus Pett and Dave Ward. Then Gerard McCosh, Kieran Beattie, Paul Simkis, Nathan Anthony and Matt Rainbow completing the finishers in 18th position after his pit stop. Paul Simmons is going to be so thrilled with that. Great to see him picking up another career win here. I think the first time was in the wet, this time bone dry. Great drive from him, Sean Smith and Miles Rudman.
Paul, cracking race, and congratulations on your second win here at Donington, obviously first win of the year. How does that feel?
Yeah, really, really good. We won here last year on the last race on a Sunday, done the same this year, and really happy with it.
I say history doesn't repeat itself, but it did there. What a race though. You and Sean initially, the two of you working together and swapping places, drafting with each other, and then Miles came up to join him.
He did, yeah, and then it was a three-way tussle, and then, yeah, just managed to do it. But, yeah, no, really, really enjoyed it.
Sean, you two looked to have broken away, and then Miles closed in and made it a three-way. We didn't know where it was going to go. How was it in the 21 car?
Yeah, it was a really good race. We come from the back, just trying to catch them two. They got a bit of a run, caught them up, and then it was just playing the game at the end, I think.
A two-way battle for the lead became a three at the end of the day, and another podium for you. Good points again?
Yeah, definitely. You know, that's what we're looking for at this stage. We just want to keep getting them points. Yeah, I would have loved to have got the win, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it was a three-way battle and any one of us could have won that, yeah, so it's really good.
The top point scorer on the day is Sean Smith, 530 points. He wins round 8 here at Donington Park from Cy Haraway. Will Gibson third ahead of Marcus Pett and Miles Rudman. Paul Simmons in 6th from Jack Parker and Mike Schlupp. And joint 9th, Dave Ward and Nathan Anthony. It means that the championship table now headed by Miles Rudman from John Mickle. Sean Smith from 5th up into 3rd. Cy Haraway stays in 4th place. Then Marcus Pett and Connor Mills. Will Gibson up into 7th.
Well, that concludes our racing action for the 24 Hour Solutions Legends Cars National Championship here at Donington. Stunning racing once again from the Pocket Rockets. We're going to regroup in a few weeks' time at Snetterton Circuit in Norfolk. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.